where faculty can use their knowledge, creativity, and skills to create their perfect online course. And this could be delivered as simply as just providing content, posting grades, or as elaborately as presenting an entire course and activities fully online. So it's a really cool thing. I'll go ahead and click. So for folks, as you're kind of going through and you're like, I need to learn about this, we actually have a really great place to start. When these slides are shared, definitely feel free to take advantage and click on that Learning About Canvas page, and then look for these 3 cool images, the crawl, walk, run. Essentially, you pick where you are on your learning journey, and then check out these resources, see what they can do to kind of help you answer your questions. And then when you get all the way over to that run part, so maybe you've survived a couple semesters, that's how we can help you. So this is where once a faculty member has been set up as an instructor on PeopleSoft, they can request their own Canvas courses on middleware. So that's the first set of instructions we have linked there. Canvas course sites are not automatically created at Boise State University. They have to be created by the instructor. So it's something to just remember to do each semester. And that is, again, why we have that stuff there. If you are a department manager, and you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I need to help manage those Canvas courses, we can help you with that too. So a department can set you up as a course coordinator on middleware, the same place we have teachers request their sites. We could have you as the manager of many teachers request sites for all your faculty members. So there is a link to the instructions for how to become a course coordinator, and then we can kind of help you from there as questions pop up and that sort of thing. Okay, I think we did it.
That is it. Okay, thank you so much, Maria. So to clarify, so that is Canvas access for adjuncts. Bronco Hub access, just to specify, is a different access for adjuncts. Bronco Hub is simply for employment information, pay stubs, W-4s. It is not connected to Canvas access at all. It's completely separate. Bronco Hub is where hourly adjuncts will submit their time. It is only available to all employees, regardless of what type of employee you are, on their hire date or their start date. Their access will end on their projected end date or once a separation form has been submitted and processed by our team. Pay stubs and W-2 requests can be made here if you are an adjunct that is in between appointments. We do have a project that we have requested to kind of help with this lag time in between semesters. So we will update on this presentation next year once we get further information on that project request. Do you have any questions at all? I'd like to take a time to pause and see if there's any questions for Maria at this time. I don't see anything in the chat, so we're going to go ahead and move on. We have I-9s for adjunct faculty. I-9s do have to complete a new I-9 every 3 years because they are termed and hired every semester. It is just required that they have to do one every 3 years. This is very important to be done within the first 3 days of employment to maintain compliance with Homeland Security. There are hefty fees if we aren't in compliance. And so if you have any questions, please email I-9 information at boisestate.edu and they can guide you on what the next steps are. Adjunct faculty are faculty members who are temporary non-benefit. They are paid on a per credit basis, and that is converted to standard hours at a rate of 2.67 hours per credit hour. We do have a conversion table that's available here is the link is linked here on this, and it is also on the resource slide that we have at the end of the presentation. All adjuncts do need to have hours converted. And here on this page that talks about the different employee types we have on campus, the highlighted ones are the ones we're going to be talking about today. Again, non-benefit eligible, faculty person type, and they are limited to 11 credits per semester. Anything more will have to be hired on as a lecturer. They can be hired with a letter of appointment upload spreadsheet, or they can be hired directly in Bronco Hub with a manager self-service action. Student adjuncts are student employees and their student person type, and they also are limited to the 11 credits per semester. However, they're also held to the student employee standards as well, no more than 29 hours per week once those credits are converted. And in order to qualify to be a student employee, a student adjunct, they need to be enrolled in 6 credits as an undergrad or at least 5 as a grad student. And then the same with adjunct faculty. Student adjuncts are hired with the letter of appointment spreadsheet or hired directly into Bronco Hub with a manager self-service action. The step rates for FY25 are listed here. So adjunct step 1 are adjunct faculty who have taught fewer than 3 semesters for the university within the last 3 years and do not hold a terminal degree. That minimum pay rate is $12.46. And then adjunct step 2, $12.89. And again, this one does require a terminal degree and has taught fewer than 3 semesters for the university, or has at least a master's degree and has taught for 3 semesters. And adjunct step 3 is going to bump up to $13.56 for credit hour. Does require the terminal degree and at least 3 semesters over the last 6 years, or has at least a master's degree and has taught at least 6 semesters. And the senior adjunct step 3 can be a confusing one because it is the same price. It is the same price per credit hour to pay. That's because this is an honorific recognition and there is no associated pay increase for the senior adjunct step 3. So to find the number of semesters that somebody has worked, you can log into Campus Solutions, go to myboisestate.edu, and then Campus Solutions, click your navigation icon that's in the upper right-hand corner here. And then we're going to go to click on menu down here. Then we're going to click on curriculum management and then instructor advisor information and instructor schedule. And then once you're in there, you'll see all of these different semesters. These 4-digit codes are a semester. The middle code, the middle numbers, like on this one is a 01, that is the year. And then the last number is going to be either a 3, 6, or 9, 3 for spring, 6 for summer, and 9 for fall. So within there, so you'll put the ID in, you can listen, you can see how many semesters they have taught. And then on the instructor schedule, you can see instructor schedule 2. That's going to give you the different dates and times that they're the start date and the end date, the session that they're teaching, and it'll also include the class number and the section number as well. So standard hours conversion, I mentioned this before in talking about what an adjunct is, converted at 2.67 hours for every credit hour. So if we have this chart that is created for the accelerated courses, and also for the full semester is going to be on that last column. So in this green example here, 3 credits being paid over 7 weeks. You're going to go on that first row to 7 weeks. You're going to go down in that blue column and find the number of credits, and that's going to be 12 standard hours. We are looking at the time frame that it's being paid over. So if that's a 7-week course with a week of prep and a week to close it out, that would be 9 weeks, and we would pay out at this 8 standard hours. It is important to use full weeks for all hires for adjuncts. So starting on a Monday, ending on a Friday. And that is the easiest way to make sure that we're calculating and they're going to receive their full payment that they should be receiving. In this purple example here, if they're teaching 2 3-credit courses being paid over 18 weeks, we'll go down this last column, find this, the number of credits in the blue column, go all the way over, and we have 16 credits, 16 hours is what that converts to. The LOA dates, we have prepared these and we have converted these into a Google Sheet. So that way we can update this by semester. And we have gotten the spring ones out there and the summer ones are also out there. We have added the standard hours converted already for you as well. So that way, if you have somebody that's teaching a 2-credit course, you can come and you can find your dates, you can find your number of standard hours that you would need. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. So if anybody has any feedback on how we can make this better, please don't hesitate to reach out. So calculating an hourly rate, you will need to do this if you are deciding to use a manager self-service action in Bronco Hub instead of doing an LOA upload. So you'll take the total salary. So if you take that step 1 rate and it's a 3-credit course, multiply that by 3, that'll be your total salary. Then we're going to take that and divide it by the number of full paid weeks. And then we're going to divide that by the number of standard hours that you have converted from their credits. And then that will equal your hourly rate. We always do round up in favor of the employee. So if it comes out to 35.678, we're going to round up to 35.68. So in this example here, an adjunct teaching at step 2, teaching 2 semester-long 3-credit courses in the spring 2024 semester. Again, the per credit amount is from FY24. I apologize, this example wasn't updated for FY25, but that would bring it to $75.06 for a total salary. Then we're going to take the total number of weeks, which is 1/1/24 to 5/3/24. That totaled 18 full weeks, Monday through Friday. We converted those credits to hours, so 6 total credits equals 16 standard hours. And then we'll take that 75.06, divide that by the 18 weeks, and divide that by the 16 hours per week, coming to 26.07 per hour. Then if you want to calculate the total salary that they will receive for the semester, you will just do the reverse, 26.07 times 18 times 16, that comes out to 75.0816. So $2.16 over the total per credit amount for rounding. We have created an LOA calculator to kind of help with this as well. If you enter in the start date here, the end date here, and the number of credits here, and then the total salary to pay here, the number of weeks will automatically populate here, and then the credits converted to weekly hours will automatically populate here, and then this is automatically going to get you your hourly rate, and then it will total that salary as well for you. If you have any questions, so we have tried to line it out clearly on which fields to enter and which fields to leave alone. But if you have any questions, please reach out to our HR processor team. They're happy to help kind of work through these examples. Workshops can be a point of contention sometimes because they are Saturday, Sunday. They're spanning multiple pay periods, or they have weird dates that aren't necessarily Monday through Friday. So for this top example for that weekend workshop, if we're looking at a workshop that is on February 3rd, 2024, which is on a Saturday, and then February 4th, 2024, which is a Sunday, that effective date is going to be 1/29 here. And then that projected end date, we're going to go down to the end of that week, and it's going to be February 9th. So we're starting on a Monday, ending on a Friday, and that'll be 2 weeks for this course. And that is the number of weeks you will use to convert your credits to hours as well. In this bottom example in blue, we're looking at April 19th, which is a Friday, and then ending on April 20th, which is a Saturday. In this case, we would want the effective date to be 4/15/2024, which is a Monday, and then the projected end date to be 4/20/2024. So in this case, it is starting on a Monday, ending on a Saturday. And if you need a new ID, if you have a new adjunct that's going to be teaching and you're unsure, you can have them complete section 1 of the I-9. That can be completed at any time prior to hiring. And then that is also the safest way for our HR processor team to receive that protected personal information, like a social security number, date of birth, address, email, phone number, and then you just email HR processor at Boise State, and then we will pull up that I-9 and we will do a search match, find the ID, or create a new one if necessary. This is the current state process right now. However, there is a change that is happening. We are actively working on a project with OCI and OIT to minimize the number of duplicate IDs that we have. So this change will be seen here on the HR new ID student hire tile. You will no longer have the options within this tile only to search match or add and update a person. If you currently use Campus Community to find your IDs, that'll still be available for you as well. Then on December 2nd, we are launching our employee ID request form. This will go to the HR processors and we will have a 1-day turnaround time to get you that ID number. And if you're, so again, it just says, has section 1 of the I-9 been completed? We just need to know so that way we know whether or not to reach out to the employee to have them do that, or to reach out to you if we're unable to find contact information. Legal first name, middle name. If it doesn't exist, you'll just enter NA, legal last name. And is this individual currently an active student, or have they ever worked for the university in any capacity? And any additional comments that could help us in locating this ID. This change will happen on December 2nd. The form will launch at noon. And if you have any questions or any concerns, please email HR processor at boisestate.edu and we can get those over to the project team. We're going to switch on over to the LOA Upload. When you open up the LOA Upload, the first tab is going to be the instructions for the LOA Upload. It will tell you the expectations for every column that you have from column B to column AQ. So starting with columns A through I, so A is just an example column, and then B is where you're going to enter the 9-digit ID number. There are protections in place within the Excel document to limit the number of digits you put in there. So if it is less than 9, it won't let you continue, it won't let you save it. It'll blank it out and ask you to enter a 9-digit ID number. We do need legal name, not preferred name, to make sure that we are finding the right person. And then personal email. If we get a Boise State email, you will be notified in red that that is a Boise State email and we need to have a personal email address. If you do not have a personal email address for your adjunct, you can leave that blank. On the phone number, it is just the area code. It will format itself to the correct format. So we just need the area code and then the 7-digit phone number. Home address is just their personal home address. And then just a note, we do need to remove all commas, so you can just leave the commas out. HR department ID is the 5-digit HR department ID. It may be different than the department ID within your funding stream. So if it is, that's okay, because sometimes the department ID within a funding string is not set up as an HR department ID, and that can cause errors and delays in your LOA upload. The job code is on column I, and we have 4-digit job codes available to use for adjuncts, 2 for faculty and 2 for student adjuncts. 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀, this is going to be for regular adjuncts that are salaried where timesheets are not required. And then 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀 is going to be for hourly adjuncts where timesheets are required. Hourly adjuncts usually have another hourly position on campus, which means that they have to be hourly in their adjunct job as well. Unfortunately, you cannot be both exempt from overtime, which is a salaried employee, and non-exempt from overtime, which is an hourly employee. You can't be both exempt and non-exempt at the same time. So if you're hourly in one, you have to be hourly in all. And then just the same way, opposite way, if you're salaried in one, you have to be salaried in all. Same for students as well. 49150 is for those salaried adjunct faculty that are also students. They are enrolled in the correct number of credits, 6 for undergrad, 5 for grad, and timesheets are not required. Hourly adjuncts, again, probably have another hourly job on campus. So if you're unsure what type of adjunct it needs to be, please reach out. We can help you kind of work through those. So columns K through P, this is going to be the information that we use that is put into the calculator that we just reviewed. The start date, the end date, and then the standard hours. And there is a link to the standard hours conversion, and then the total salary, and then column P will be auto-calculated. So entering KLMN, and then P you'll leave alone and let that calculate for you. Columns Q through U are all for the funding distribution only, so just percentages. So column Q is for the supervisor ID, and then column R is for your first funding string distribution. So the percentage of your first funding string, column S, second, T, third, and U for your fourth account string if there's 4. And then the next 5 columns are grouped together. So V through Z are for the first funding string. And with the fund, it is limited. That cell is limited to just 4 digits for the fund. Department ID is limited to 5. Cost center is limited to 7. And supplemental and project are both limited to 10 only. And then column AP is the course code, and that is a 5-digit course code. If they are teaching multiple courses, you can just list them with a space in between, no commas again. And column AQ is has a drop-down menu for either 1 for regular salaries or 2, but because adjuncts are temporary non-benefit employees, the majority of these will be 2 for regular salaries. When we process the LOA upload, we take the information you send and we copy that data into the template that we need to use to upload that into the Bronco Hub system. When we copy that data into an upload template, we then have to pull in the private demographic data. Then we have to pull all the Idaho addresses, filter those out, and then enter in the counties for all those Idaho addresses. Once we're done with that, then we go through and we do a search for commas, and we have to delete all the commas from all the cells within that LOA upload. Then we take the funding string and we concatenate that into one cell. Then we run the first part of our LOA upload. When we do that, we get what we call staging table errors. So we review those errors, and at that point, we may contact you. We will sometimes get date of birth errors, social security number errors. We can even get costing errors at this point. And so they will sit here until we are able to get a funding string that doesn't cause errors. So we will reach out to try to review with you quickly once we're doing these uploads. After those errors are cleared, then we run the second part of the upload. And those are after that runs, then we get what we call temp table errors. So then we review those table errors, which could also be costing again. It could be the number is out of sequence, or the change action and change reason that the system has pulled isn't aligning with what is currently in Bronco Hub. Then once those are cleared, then we go through the upload and we verify that upload. And when we do that, we are pulling the original upload you sent and we're trying to filter in and use the new hire report to filter into the LOA upload, the assignment numbers that are there. So then you can get that information back and then review to make sure everything's in the system as you expected. When we receive the LOA upload in an email, we look through and we create any IDs that we need to. We will verify that there aren't any personal emails listed, that there are personal emails listed, not Boise State emails. We verify the job codes and titles. So we have received before an entire LOA upload that was all hourly adjuncts. If we see that, that's something that's going to be a red flag to us, and we will reach out and say, is this the intention for everybody who's an adjunct to report time? And if we see those kinds of things, we're going to email you back and say, and ask for clarification, schedule a Zoom if necessary to review the upload. And then we are going to fill in all the fields of the funding string because a lot of times the project and supplemental are left blank, and that's fine. We'll fill those in with those 10 zeros. And we're going to verify that a course code is listed and not section numbers or names of courses. Then we will make sure that the start and end dates are formatted correctly. We're going to do a quick scan of the standard hours to make sure there aren't any decimals. If it's going to be 1.5 standard hours, then you want to round up to 2. We don't want to have any decimals. We want whole hours for those standard hours. And then we're going to check for active employees. Are these people that are on the LOA upload, are they active faculty members that are benefit eligible? Or are they actively working in another role, like an hourly position, and this adjunct position needs to be converted into hourly? We're going to check for those. And then we're going to try to do some cross-referencing to validate the ID number, which can sometimes be difficult, but we try to do what we can to find these. If changes are needed, again, we will send the upload form back for changes. If there are minor changes, we will make those changes on our end and then respond to you, to your upload, with the changes that we made. That way you have your final copy that is being uploaded. Canceling or revising an LOA upload. If you have changes that have to be made, please just reach out to our HR processors. It is good to just open that line of communication, because if you have changes that need to be made, the first question we want to ask is, has the LOA upload been processed? You can run the new hire report to see future hires, and that'll kind of tell you if you see one of your adjuncts on there, then that's kind of that red flag that says, yes, that has been uploaded. So if something has to change, if you have to cancel and it's already been uploaded, then we'll want to get a perceptive form to separate, so we have documentation of that class being canceled. And then if it has and you need to just change it, adding a class or removing a single class, you can submit a Bronco Hub data change to update the hours per week or the rate of pay. And if it has not been processed, this is where you just email us and you can check to see if it's in process, if it's currently routing through that process that I walked through before, and see where it's at. And we can kind of work with you to see how we can get those changes made. LOA upload best practices. Always submit your LOA uploads to HR processor at boisestate.edu. Again, using whole numbers when entering standard hours, filling out all the columns and rows as completely as possible. ID numbers must be 9 digits long and start with a 1. Verify the funding string. Is it active? Is it a brand new one that's never been used? Is it a new one for this semester only? We will need to make sure that it is set up for payroll, to accept payroll. If it's not, then we can help you with that as well. We are just always validate that hourly rate is at least at minimum wage. Is that $7.25 or higher? Supervisor ID must be different than the employee's ID. And then the supervisor must be active on the LOA start date or prior. If the manager that you have listed doesn't start for a week after your adjunct, then you'll want to use somebody else and then submit a manager change. And then do not include benefit eligible staff or faculty. Again, adjunct, the LOA upload is for adjunct faculty who are temporary non-benefit faculty. Adjunct hiring resources are available for you here. LOA upload, the adjunct hiring checklist, LOA dates and calculator, credits to hours conversion, making changes. There's a job aid for that as well. And then supplemental pay. I put that here. Supplemental pay is for benefit eligible employees only. However, there are a number of professional and faculty staff who teach additional courses that are in addition to what they're contracted for, or professional staff teaching a course in their free time, and they don't get put on an LOA upload. They are going to receive supplemental pay. And if you'd like to review your LOA upload with us, just email us and we will schedule 30 minutes with you to review and go through the validation points that we do when we receive it. And we can do it with you on a Zoom. We're happy to do that as well. So going back to supplemental pay for benefit eligible faculty and staff, supplemental pay faculty is going to be for your on-contract faculty. So for spring semester, if anybody's teaching an overload course, then that will be submitted on an ICP form as supplemental pay faculty. For professional, temporary, exempt employees, which are the salaried employees, they will get supplemental pay selected on the ICP form. Non-exempt, hourly, classified, and student employees will receive overtime for any extra work. So therefore, they need to have an additional position set up. For classified hourly people will need to have another job within Bronco Hub to report those hours. Summer salary is going to be for off-contract work for less than 12-month faculty or professional staff. Summer salary won't impact our spring semester that we have coming up for 2025, but we will talk more about that when we have our fundamentals next year for summer semester. Any questions out there? Okay, we are going to just continue on. So for adding a class, canceling a class, course enrollment changes, we've put together some questions that you'd want to ask to kind of guide you on what to do. Is the total salary changing? Yes, then you're going to want to do a salary change. And if the credit hours are not changing, then we'll do the salary change. If the credit hours are changing and the salary is not changing, or as you can see here, there's the no or the yes for both the credit hours changing, that's going to be a data change. Within the data change, you're able to change the job record details, like the course numbers and the standard hours, and the salary. If you submit a salary change, you're only doing the salary change. It does not open up the other fields for you to update the employment record. We put together some examples to kind of help guide any kind of situations you may run into. In this first example, Adjunct A originally hired to teach a 3-credit course for the full semester for $4,000. On Saturday, 3/2/24, another Adjunct B teaching the same course has a family emergency and will not be able to finish the semester. You would want to submit a separation form for Adjunct B with the last day worked of 3/2/2024, and then submit a data change for Adjunct A to update the job record with the new standard hours per week in a new hourly rate effective 3/3. And then on the right, we've put the different things that you'll need to update. So in this, because the standard hours are changing and the rate of pay is changing, we're going to do a data change and we'll make that effective 3/3. And these are the different things we are looking at when determining what to change. We're looking at the original number of credits, the original standard hours, the new credits, the new standard hours, the original LOA amount, the new LOA amount, how much has already paid. And then we're going to take that amount from the new LOA amount, and we have a remaining amount owed of $49.99.84. And the number of weeks paid is 9. And the 9 weeks have already paid of this, and there's 9 weeks remaining. So then we have the original pay rate of $27.78. And if we do that math again, the new rate of pay would be $34.73. Some of these situations can get a bit complicated, and we are happy to work through any of those situations with you. Example 2 is submitted an LOA upload for an adjunct to teach 3 credits for $3,000 for the entire semester, but they have been teaching 9 credits and should be paid a total of $9,000 for the entire semester. And today's date is 3/19/2024. So the semester starts in January. So we're looking at somebody who has been missing pay for 2 months. If you submit a data change with an effective date of January 1st, the start date of the semester, to update the hours per week from 8 to 24, then the next available pay period, that back pay that's owed to that adjunct will be calculated when we run the next payroll, and the retro pay will be calculated and paid out. So in this situation, the original LOA dates were 1/1 to 5/3. The date of the change does need to be 1/1. We're looking at the original credits, original hours, the new credits and the new hours, original LOA amount. And if we look at the original rate of pay and the new rate of pay, that is staying the same because the number of standard hours is increasing. So that's one of the situations where the pay is not changing, just the standard hours. In example 3, an adjunct originally hired to teach a 3-credit course for $3,000, but due to high enrollments on the 10th day, this adjunct is due an additional $500. We have 2 different options that we'll do. Option A, submit a salary change effective 1/1 for $24.31 an hour, and then back pay will be automatically paid out by the system on the next payroll process. Option B is to submit a salary change effective for 1/22 for $25 to be paid out for the remainder of the semester. So in this, we're not looking at the new credits. We've crossed that out. We are looking at the original LOA dates, the date of the change, original number of credits, original standard hours, original LOA amount, the amount that's already paid, the new amount, and we are doing that math to get the new rate of pay, which changes from $24.31 effective 1/1 to $25 effective 1/22. Helpful reports that are available, we have listed them here and linked the job aids for all of them. The active employee detail report will include pay type, weekly hours, job code, and title. Active employee funding and pay is going to have the same information as the active employee detail report, but it will include the rate of pay and the funding source. The new hires report, that's where you can see your future dated hires that are coming through on the LOA upload. The expense distribution report, overview of payroll information, I believe that's been updated to the payroll costing report. Instructor schedule report, that's to see the overview of instructor schedules, and the salary ledger report, which is the overview of payroll data that's available after payroll. To get some assistance with some further resources, if you go to the HR page, the Human Resource Services page, and click on the payroll tab, that's where you're going to find the HR processing team, which is the primary contact for those adjunct job records. And then if on the right-hand column, you'll see payroll and holiday calendars. And here, these are the 2 calendars we use frequently within HR processing. We use the fiscal year calendar, which will have each pay period in a block. So it makes pay periods and weeks easy to count. And then we have the payroll schedule, which has the due date. So it has the pay period start, pay period end. This is a new column that's just been put out this year for the new ECC effective date. Employee actions, it shows when they have to be due, completed through approvals for each pay period. Also has the time entry approval and the pay date corresponding with that pay period. And then back to that payroll header, we're going to go to find that HR processing team. And if you scroll down, you will see the blue boxes. That is the information that the HR processing team has. And you will see letter of appointments and adjuncts has its own section. And in there, you will see the Boise State Fundamentals workshops, the hours, the credits to hours conversion table, the calculator for hourly rates, an adjunct hiring checklist, the policy, a link to the step rates, and then also some dates and forms. Here are all the links that we have throughout the presentation. And next, Canvas email access steps. We did condense this into a little slide. So you want to create or locate an ID first, contacting HR processors for assistance with that search match or that creation of an ID. Then you'll submit a schedule request to the registrar's office. That's going to trigger that access provisioning for your adjunct. And you want to make sure to add any secondary users who may need instructor access for grades, for grade reporting. Then you will log on to middleware to add that course and select the appropriate term and request the Canvas course. And then log on to Canvas. For assistance with Canvas and email access, please contact the help desk. We have linked the help desk page here for another resource available to you. And then I just wanted to take this time on this slide to introduce you to our payroll operations team. Payroll, we put the different things that payroll does with their manager listed at the bottom. We have Carrie Matheson as our interim payroll manager. And then processing, I lead the processing team. I'm the associate director of HR processing. And then benefits is led by our assistant director of benefits, Karen Drew. And we have listed all the different things that we can help you with. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can reach out to all three of us at the same time. And we each have a group email. All teams have a group email that you can reach out to for assistance as well. And on this one, this is our human resources and workforce strategy, the group emails that we have available for you out there if you have any questions about anything that HR can assist with. And we'll open up for any questions that anybody may have. There's a message in the chat from Alex. Is there any sort of visual timeline available that shows the steps we should take from posting for an adjunct role all the way to the point of putting them on the LOA, like a checklist we can follow? Yes, there is a checklist. I believe it is on the list of resources. Let me pull that up real quick. Let's see here. Adjunct hiring checklist. We can pull that up and see. So there's important considerations here. The pre-hire steps are available for you as well. Can everybody see my screen with that checklist? Okay. If you have any questions or something doesn't look right, please reach out. We're always looking to make the options better, the information out there better and clear and concise. So if you have any ideas for improvement, please don't hesitate. And if you have any clarifying questions, please reach out to HR processors at boisestate.edu. Thank you for that question, Alex. That was a good question. Anybody else? Okay, if there aren't any other questions, please send any feedback you have. If there's anything that you would have wanted to have seen, if you don't want to mention it now, that is okay. Just send me an email directly. I'm at 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀@boisestate.edu. We are consistently updating this to put any updates that we're doing, any changes that we are making, any process improvements we're trying to do. So if you have any feedback, please send it to me. I would love to hear how we can make this better for you. So if there aren't any other questions, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. And we will have an updated schedule for 2025's fundamentals as well. I believe Rachel's working on it. She's just waiting to hear back from me. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Cece. Have a great day, everyone.